So, welcome everyone, in case we are finally live here on this channel. First, my camera confused me, didn't allow me to disable the overlay icon display stuff on the TV output, and then when I finally figured the jog wheel thing was turned from not movie, which is, thank you very much for not having the option available for not movie mode, then YouTube told me live streaming is not available. I had this so maybe right now, maybe YouTube has an outage. We had this before. There was 6 months ago when I wanted to go live, I couldn't go live, and later it was in the news, YouTube had an outage. And what I've done now is simply change from low latency to normal latency, or no, from ultra low latency to low latency, and now YouTube allowed us to go live. Thank you very much for that. With it being said, a couple of hours of Pulse audio and Bluetooth frustration are behind me. It's probably a story for another channel, maybe later today. For the moment, let's dive in here in the news I compiled for you as public service announcement. Here on Semi-Accurate, on another site that is probably worth mentioning for a recurring good job of digging up news in the semi-accurate world. Intel significantly, allegedly, maybe delays its entire server roadmap here. Something is seriously wrong, writes Charlie Demergian or so. Sorry for pronunciation that is off. So yeah, maybe trouble is much larger there in Intel's silicon world than we previously already knew. It looks like Intel is now delaying their entire single server project. Their entire roadmap has just slightly slid significantly. Even semi-accurate is not worried about what they're hearing from the company. Things do not appear to be getting better. More that certainly, as much as, well, not AMD, not Intel fan, but certainly Intel stuff was extremely overpriced the last years, plus, or maybe even forever, certainly. Anyway, but also all the security flaws, Spectrum meltdown, all the other stuff, you name it. But certainly we need competition, so certainly not AMD chill here. So certainly for AMD to stay awesome and amazing, we certainly also need some successful Intel, so that is certainly not the good news. Also, we have this here delays of AMD shipment because just TSMC is so overloaded, certainly with manufacturing for everyone, and certainly we the world, the customers, need more than one semiconductor foundry here. So nothing short of catastrophic for customers. They write here, change means you can't reasonably cool the CPU with air. Water cooling isn't the end of the world, but entail platform changes, yada yada, something. Why did Intel do this? AMD had 64 cores on their Rome CPUs. Intel was on track for only 2019, only 40 to 48 or so. Some of the design power went up. This is something, same thinking about resurrecting Cascade Lake AP to not so positive acclaim. Yeah, 400 watt part, crippling restrictions, no third-party systems, and whatnot. Anyway, certainly not amazing, and if this is true, certainly not the best to come for a year or two, and certainly also the challenge of Moore's Law, or still continuing here with Moore's Law, and being able to double, triple the performance and cores every so many months. So yeah, there is that. This is rumors, of course, hearsay, so whatever. But certainly from the past track record of Intel's last years, certainly this sounds relatively plausible. In other not so most super amazing news for Intel, hackers can mess with voltages to steal Intel's chip secrets. With chip secrets, they don't mean their blueprints there, but they mean security keys inside Intel's security enclaves. Their new attack called Plundervolt, which gives attackers access to sensitive data stored in processors' secure enclave. With this I mean SGX, as far as I remember here. So when thieves and so on, the usual pre-story, similar trick, whatever, two teams of researchers, one of the university in Birmingham in the UK and TU Graz Vienna and KU Leuven in Belgium, and another at the Technical University Darmstadt in Germany, and even more, so many researchers have found, also California, found a new technique that, well, a new technique. To be honest, this technique is not new. People, hackers, crackers have used it for decades already. This is long known. Even I personally, decades ago, attended Chaos Computer Congress nearly 20 years ago, when this voltage glitching was already used to steal secrets from smart cards and other security chips. So not really sure what is so new, in my opinion, not the most new, but anyway. Have found a not so new technique that can allow hackers to fiddle with the voltages in Intel chips and cause them to leak information stolen using Intel Secure Guard extension feature. Those secure enclaves in device memory are designed to be impregnable. Intel, which asks the teams to keep their findings under wraps. Also, we had this in previous news, not so famous NDAs there of Intel. Security researchers could not even talk about that certain Intel chips are vulnerable of some of the attacks. Also, Intel said they are not. So yeah, SGX, as I remembered here. But by momentarily undervolting the processor by 25 to 30%, precisely timing the voltage change, an attacker can cause the chips to make errors in the midst of computations that use secret data, and those errors can reveal information as sensitive as cryptographic key, biometric data stored in the SGX enclave. So personally, as bad as Spectre and Meltdown are, personally, on my personal level, as far I've seen here, but your mileage may vary, not the biggest end of the world, because for this you already need to have access and to be able to fiddle with the voltages. So it's not something that you do that remote. You already need to have some sort of local access and already be something like root to be even able to mess with the voltages. I think they have known here, drop the voltages known as undervolting typically allows legitimate users to save power when they don't need maximum performance. So again, yeah, so using this model specific registers that we probably have messed around in earlier videos here on this or the other live stream or channel. Nothing too new. So what this also means, if you are undervolting at home and your stuff starts crashing and you run some P applications, Pi benchmarking or Blender, Cinebench and all this fun, or games, and you undervolt and stuff, this is of course the stuff does not work all right anymore. Usually this crashes more or less the whole system. But if you time this and specifically undervolt, then you can trick the stuff to not crash but do other parts of execution and yield some nice cryptographic keys. So in my opinion, yeah, you see a voltage is 0.779 volt undervolting here, something whatever. Some video and yeah, so leave in the comments below what you think. Personally, yeah, this is not good, but honestly also maybe unlike the other security vulnerabilities who have really huge impact for virtual machines, this, in my opinion, yeah, but I mean, you are undervolting, so yeah, what did you expect to happen? So yeah, don't under and overvolt unnecessarily, and bad stuff can happen. Let's see, comments in the audience. Probably I should pop out chat this here for better zooming and readability. Comments in the audience, but as usual, leave me in the comments below what you think. Wouldn't write, so Navarro said, wouldn't write Intel off. Intel came back from the grave many times since the 70s with the current. Yeah, I didn't write them off, I only said not the most amazing for customers. Certainly also for mobile silicon, they still have relatively competitive silicon with AMD, especially AMD fooled ourselves with this being a half tick behind on the mobile silicon front, which even confused us. So you really need to be in all these technical details that even we had to get back in here after leaving the PC building stuff that I've done personally in the 90s and 2000s for Macs for a decade. And even then, there you see this misleading model numbers, even in AMD's land, that even we only with all the research and videos and comments and stuff realize that the mobile 3000 are just Zen 1 Plus. So, and looking on reviews, battery life and stuff, you obviously see that the Intel silicon is relatively competitive there in that regard. So, and because AMD is just one tick there behind anyway. Although personally that is not the worst thing. It's actually, there you see I'm not an AMD chill. You can still select AMD Ryzen, Threadripper, EPIC stuff for high performance desktop and servers and still rock Intel on your otherwise portable ThinkPad or whatever stuff. And why not? Also Spectre Meltdown, but yeah. Welcome Christians, so writing them off, detailed rights. Good to see them getting their asses kicked because they were overpricing the products and enjoying the year. Certainly so. Let's see, next news. Do we even have here stuff ongoing? Amazing stuff. So in more amazing news, you have seen me here doing RISC-V. Also in other news we have done on the other channel. Why do I have here so many camera views? Why is it so? What have I done here with my scenes? You have seen this in other news. Icebreaker, HDMI stuff here. I actually finished on top of blinking attribute and cursor palette. I finished the hardware cursor, so we now have a full pixel precise amazing hardware cursor with custom palette. Probably I should give a short update for this. Of course, for this we do RISC-V next, combine this with a RISC-V core. But if you're looking for high performance RISC-V stuff, of course you can get this pre-made here. For example, from Microsemi here, PolarFire SOC lowest power multi-core RISC-V. If you were wondering, yes, of course there are some RISC-V silicon, all not the most easy to source. Some even quite expensive, and if you're looking in some massive parallel RISC-V stuff here, even with the FPGA, so they have here some nice 23 to 416K logic elements, which is certainly many more than we have here. We have only 5,800 something, so the smallest much bigger and the largest certainly. Yeah, so if you have some hardware projects that need some massive parallel stuff, FPGA plus RISC-V, so RISC-V core they have here. This of course means they have here RISC-V cores already inside, not to mention PCIe Gen 2. But RISC-V, where do they have the RISC-V here? Somehow I don't. Math blocks, where would they have RISC-V? Where is even, hello? Firefox, can you maybe find what I'm looking for? Whatever, you get the idea. Somehow they have RISC-V cores in there also. Why do they not clearly FPGA high speed, total FPGA, DDR, total user something. Where would the heck? Product family overview. Anyway, some RISC-V cores, current RISC-V cluster, just that I don't instantaneously figure out how many they have here. Anyway, you get the idea. More RISC-V stuff here, nicely mixed with FPGA stuff. Still wonder, so they have here 1, 2, 3, 4, so at least monitor core, application core. Yeah, something of that sort. Slightly real time, they even, you see 2019, they even advertise it with Linux, and as I said in the FPGA videos, of course, you would exactly use this for all this kind of real-time stuff where you would have all the FPGA stuff doing servo, other engine, then the control stuff, you name it. In similar 2019 news, Linux mentioned in RISC-V advertising, because what else would you want to run on RISC-V? Microsoft Teams is the first Office app for Linux. Probably the year hell officially soon freezes over. Microsoft the other day, today was December 10, launched Microsoft Teams for Linux in public preview, so that's not a typo. Microsoft Teams is indeed the first Office app that the company has ported to Linux. Microsoft reached out to say that the first Office 365 app, whatever Office apps refer to, whatever, okay, gets the idea. Teams is the company's Office 365, so personally not the most amazed, but there you have it. If you are in this kind of thing, Microsoft is doing more Linux, because who wants Windows anyway? And I have to say that all this Office app, in our company, we are using email and plain text stuff, because maintainability and simplicity and keep it stupid simple. I'm now in some like ISO standard and other like Twain working group for our exact scanning stuff and such. I'm a little bit working with external big companies, and so I have to deal a little bit with this calendar invites and all this GoToMeeting. What was the other something? Zoom and whatever, and I find all this web stuff highly time wasting. So you constantly get emails, this appointment changed, and you want to join some meeting, and then you need to look up, was it Zoom, was it GoToMeeting, you log in there, it doesn't work. It's highly waste of time, and then each time you join something you need to install the web stuff, usually doesn't work amazingly, then you need to install some local app, or certainly well on Mac and Windows anyway. So in my opinion, all this business management stuff, huge waste of time in my opinion. Just some 2 cents here in between if you were wondering. If you have any other comment to this web management stuff, leave me in the comments below. Personally, I find how the big business is managing their business with all this web management stuff, total waste of resources, time and money. We have seen this in the other news some time ago, where Microsoft Japan tried the 4-day week and they did the same work done. Everyone was more happy, and people were not like sleeping and waiting that the meeting is over, but finally focusing on getting the stuff done. And this is exactly each time I join these meetings, some shit goes wrong, you don't find the invite, it's some new service that you never used before, Zoom, Teams, you name it. Let's see. Still some comments to the undervolting. Navarro writes he would also buy an Intel laptop again, because battery life and performance Horizon looks meh, to say the least. Christian writes, underclocked in old K8 to 800 MHz at 0.75 volt, and it run completely fanless back in the day, slower than a turtle, but made it excellent file server. That is interesting to know. Navarro Linux Horizon works fine, even Heiko boots fine. It looks like, by the way, a fun fact, if you were looking on performance data, looks like maybe next week we can start through performance-wise. It sounds like an AMD Ryzen 3950X is my way. So let's hope we get this next week for some massive parallel Linux compilation and live streaming fun. Sadly, so Navarro writes, sadly can't buy Polar Fire without massive NDA. Yeah, also tools. So this was just a shout out on what kind of fancy FPGA stuff exists. Personally, I would never, especially if I would be to develop a product, I would always try to use stuff where we have open source tools like this Yosys stuff. Here for the icebreaker, exactly, just listen Clifford Wolf's horror stories there of commercial binary only FPGA tool chain stuff, certainly not amazing. So yeah, certainly I would choose something that open source tool chain and open specification. As you know from the previous live stream videos, huge fan of open register specifications here. Christian writes, don't get this company, they used to hate Linux back in the day. They say they contribute a great deal. Would like their reasoning, then has to be something sinister. Yeah, Christian, I think so. This is usually like this food cycle of fear and so on. And if you can't beat them, beat us and open source with fear and everyone, they certainly see everyone as much as they can migrates away from Windows on servers, on some desktops like thin clients, so many thin clients running Linux, and certainly Rocket, Space Station and other fun stuff. Certainly the whole server, I mean, who in their sane mind runs internet servers with Windows? So this is certainly why they had to do something to make Windows with first PowerShell and then Linux subsystem. And now certainly, if they certainly see also with Chromebooks and so on, so maybe that is their strategy as a fallback plan to have business customers continue using the apps even on Linux, should it happen that there is more business customers, especially in Europe, like in Germany even. Although the politicians try to push Windows with all the lobby influence they get there, but even there the data watchdogs say the Windows telemetry stuff and is not suitable and in compliance for use in schools and so on. So certainly their backup plan to have something in place in case there is more Linux migration. So yeah, Detard writes, they already ship Linux. Kernel wouldn't be surprised to implement Windows on Linux, offload lots of our community. I don't think this will happen, though, or maybe in 10 years, but I don't think in the short term Microsoft would probably not do that, I guess. But yeah, they are free to prove my estimate wrong. Won't get a second from me. So, but good thing or bad thing if this, anyway, GPL compatible drivers, binary, something. Anyway, yeah, so again, summary of this news, not amazed by this web management stuff. Again, leave in the comments below what you think. Certainly not the most interested in web management stuff. In similar news, which by the way I moved here accidentally, that belongs there somewhere. Anyway, in similar news, Nikon is killing its authorized repair program. As you know, we usually shout out Apple here for their not the most amazing repair program, or actually no repair program, and this huge movement of right to repair is making some progress in the USA, in Europe, and now with all the right to repair movement, Nikon is killing its authorized repair program, and yeah, there you see it. This is why we need to lobby not only Louis Rossmann but all of us if you want spare parts. So what does it mean? They are ending their authorized repair program as early as 2020. Likely leaving more than a dozen repair shops without access to official parts. Also on the Apple side, of course, you can't even get the parts. So authorized repair shops only swap batteries or ship it to Apple's processing hubs. So yeah, not really that much. Also, it's glorified mailbox forwarding stuff, but yeah. You can't get then camera fixed with official parts from more than a dozen of independent shops with 2 facilities at the end of the US. This means Nikon, roughly 15 remaining authorized repair stations. Station members are about to become non-authorized repair shops. Yeah. Anyway, certainly not cool. I really wonder slightly. I mean, the camera market is declining with all the smartphone craze anyway, and why do they not keep their own customers happy? I don't quite get this, but yeah, certainly not amazing news. In other not the most amazing news, Russian police raids NGINX Moscow office. If you didn't know, NGINX was a Russian-based development recently sold for billion point something in previous IT news here, 20 news weeks ago. And now Russian search engine Rambler RU claims full ownership of NGINX code. Apparently the author was working there, and there is no some dispute about owning all of this. So, subsidiary of F5 Networks, I think they purchased it for 1 point something billion. And the company behind the internet most popular web server technology. Equipment was seized and employees were detained for questioning. Moscow police, I slightly yeah, but you could say, why did they even continue to operate in Russia? Certainly they had their core developers there. You certainly can't move your huge operation from somewhere to somewhere else if you have all your developers there. But just let's not forget this, with increasing police state, this could similarly happen in the US and Europe, UK, France, North Korea, China, you name it. So according to Copy of the Search, Varane posted on Twitter today, Rambler claims that Igor Syserv developed NGINX while he was working as a system administrator for the company. Hence, they are the rightful owner of the project. Created NGINX as early as the 2000s. So yeah, 20 years later, like, hey, we want something from the billion. It's a little bit, nah, what the heck, seriously. Yeah, 2009 founded as NGINX Inc., a US company to provide. So yeah, a little bit, nah, whatever. I probably said this in the other news shout out. I found this price hilariously overpriced, billion something, seriously, for a glorified web server, even written in C. I actually looked at the code the other day. Of course we have it as a T2 package. Never really looked too much at the code. The other day for this news, I looked into the code. It's good old-fashioned C code, so yeah, also not the most outstanding technology-wise, but maybe comments in the audience disagree. So quite some comments there. Welcome, Glockus. How are you all doing? Hope you're doing fine, by the way. And yeah, this is certainly not cool, but yeah, time will. Anyway, if you have comments in the audience, but my comment is, the biggest comment here is, of course, it's a little bit fishy scam, like 20 years, like nearly 20 years later, like, hey, I want my share of the cookie. It's a little bit, yeah, yeah. Anyway, also, yeah, but if you have insight or comments, leave me in the comments below. Chrome, in new news, Chrome now warns you when your password has been stolen. Chrome 79 arrives with better password protection. This is this kind of crazy feature, like seriously, what the heck? For this to work, I really wonder how people can think this is a good idea. Because certainly this means, why does Google do this? I mean, they do not usually do this for the greater good of humanity. They certainly want something from this as you are the product. And certainly they get a nice collection of websites you're browsing. So for this feature to work, Chrome certainly needs to transmit some hash or URL in full of the sites you are visiting for the password to check. So in my opinion, a little bit fishy, as usual, also for hackers and crackers to get in between. These are this kind of features, like seriously, do we really need this? Do we really want this? Are people not thinking a little bit about this? It's similar to this honey that all the big YouTubers, maybe even including Linus Tech Tips, are shouting out. I said this before, I would never, probably I would say never, become such a shill for this VPN or honey stuff, because I said it before, the services like honey, they certainly transmit all the products that you are looking for purchasing, transmitting this to the central servers of those. So this company compiles a nice collection of stuff you're interested in, and similar here to websites you're surfing, and to get password warnings. It's like, seriously, what the heck? Whatever, 2019. So NGINX pretty good as a reverse proxy. Verge, did you see their computer building? Yes, I saw their computer building. That was certainly not the most amazing, but doesn't matter where the news comes from. Maybe was it in, maybe I should have looked up the primary news site here. Is it here somewhere? But it doesn't change the news where it comes from. Better leave me in the comments below what you think about this password phishing protection, whatsoever feature stuff. In other news, we had the other IT news, recurring stuff here on this channel, stuff that is insecure and whatnot. The government, local governments, hospitals in the US, in Germany, the police station there in Berlin, police department lost data, all the case files, or quite some case files, upgrading to Windows 10 or something. The courthouse next block is out of order for malware. Another hospital is out of order, so now the next hospital is out of order in Germany, Klinikum Furth offline with limited operations. 2019 at its best because of computer virus in the system. The hospital in Fürth has severely limited its operation. And yeah, 2019 IT security is causing real harm, people to suffer, maybe even someone to die. And this is why we need to seriously up our IT professional operating system security, stability stuff. It's not a drill anymore. The infestation was reportedly discovered on Thursday. On Friday morning, the hospital was unsubscribed from the emergency care and temporarily taken no new patients. The connection to the internet was cut. Experts investigate the internet. Computer virus has penetrated the first assessment of the clinic by email. In the computer system, which Trojan virus is not known at the moment, and they are working hard on an education. The hospital says on Friday, authorities such as the State Criminal Police Office and the Federal Office for Information Security were informed. How long the restriction would last is not foreseeable. Operations cancelled. Supply of patients to the site is still possible, said the hospital, Plundervolt and whatever, but yeah, 58,000 outpatients, 42,000 inpatients annually. So yeah. In similar news, is this only insecurity stuff this day? No, of course not. Ransomware, New Orleans hit by ransomware. City employees told to turn off computers. After Atlanta, Baltimore, another major US city, grapples with a ransomware attack. And yeah, we need to do something. I'm sorry to be the messenger, but this is, yeah, and you know it from my commentary. Maybe I make a short live stream on the other channel about the state of monolithic Linux kernel stuff, but yeah. City of New Orleans is also dealing with a cyber attack. Nature of the cyber attack has been confirmed as a ransomware infection, and press conference is held today, and so on. The usual stuff. Or did I, by the way, probably I had this news. This is why the news was unsorted. This is already the same news. Sorry for that double news. Anyway, in similar news, Telefonica Germany, you heard probably about this controversy about Huawei and supplying 5G equipment there, and USA and Europe they're interfering, and we shouldn't use Huawei equipment and whatsoever. So Telefonica Germany lobbying aggressively behind the scene for Huawei, and they've attached a letter sent to the Bundestag members last month. It is in German, however, but the key point is in English. And to probably no one's surprise here after Snowden papers and everyone a little bit informed, most important point is the last one. The only ever known security incident in mobile networks are related to the US. Since 2013 we know that the NSA broke into the German internet backbone. Just a little bit outro here, just in case you were wondering. Also, USA don't use Huawei because we still want to have some nice fine internet access in Europe, right? Just a recurring reminder here about the state of security, and in case that was not yet clear. To summarize this live stream, 0 drop frames, amazing stuff, 30 frames per second, not too bad. What else do we have in the comments here? Quite some comments here going on. That is pretty cool. Certifications, Microsoft, SAP can pay for the OS cert. What is going on there? NGINX pretty good for using Windows for mission critical things is their own fault. Yeah, exactly our reminder. However, as much as I was a Linux chill for 20 years, I come to the conclusion the state there is also not the most amazing. Maybe better than Windows, but we certainly need to stop writing monolithic kernels and everything in C. We have here certification. Microsoft and SAP can pay for the open, what OS is open source system can't, and there are certifications. Certifications for, same with governments, police investigations, enforcers, PCI and whatnot, something, certifications that the software can be used in this sensitive environment. Yeah, can be used and then something happened. And of course, all the software license agreements always read no warranty, no whatsoever. And yeah, so also SAP, right? I've only heard bad things about SAP, and like basically usually companies go bankrupt. Usually SAP introduction costs hundreds of millions, and big companies even they canceled it already so often. And there is a saying like the test of the financial stability of a company is an SAP introduction. So if a company survives an SAP introduction, then the financials are really rock solid, because it's such an expensive fail that yeah, it's sad. If it wouldn't be so funny. Get paid, well, watch for something that is a problem. Would cost them, since need people to review every something whatsoever. Belgian telco networks were also affected. Remember when the US were eavesdropping on the Merkel phone? Yeah, exactly, that is what I meant with Snowden papers, and listening to friends is unacceptable unless the friends are the USA. That's it for today. I hope you learned something. Theoretically, I could give a short report about the state. We have it already, 2051. Anyway, so yeah, I hope you learned something, and also thank you for everyone subscribing. Both channels gain new subscribers. That is certainly amazing. I hope you appreciate this public service announcements of compiling the most outstanding security issues and other newsworthy developments here over the week. Maybe I quickly make a short live stream on the other channel. Maybe see you there. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon for the next live streams and videos to come.